So a few days ago, I posted my predictions on what I thought would happen at AEW Full Gear. Was I right? Did I enjoy the pay-per-view as much as I expected to? Let's find out. Welcome to Geeks and Grapplers. My name is Dom, and here is my review for AEW Full Gear. Before we get into the individual matches, I thought the pay-per-view was fantastic. If you look at the way AEW constructs their pay-per-views, they always have a mix of established names as well as homegrown talent given their chance to shine. There's always something for everyone: classic wrestling matches, deep story-driven matches, and of course the violent, wacky, fun stuff. But above all else, everyone on the card works their absolute socks off. AEW allows their wrestlers to express their in-ring performances and characters with a degree of freedom not afforded at other wrestling companies, and it shows. That's not to say the pay-per-view is flawless though. So let's break down the matches. The main card opened with Darby Allin versus MJF, and my god was this amazing. I had no idea the match was going to be this good. It set the bar for the night so high. I expected a bit of a spot fest from Darby and the usual distractions, shenanigans and interference from Wardlow, etc. And yes, the finish was reached with a distraction, but everything was just so cleverly done. We were watching two future headliners just show what they are capable of, and I think both came out more over from this match. I predicted a Darby Allin win, so got this one wrong. Not off to a good start already. And MJF got the pin with a diamond ring assisted headlock takedown. Again, brilliant booking. I think MJF needs a decent feud to get his teeth into before setting his sights on the world title sometime next year. And I could see Darby circling around the TNT title again soon. Next up was FTR versus Lucha Brothers for the tag titles. Now, I did enjoy this match a lot, but was it a 5-star match like the Luchas versus the Bucks at All Out? No. Did it give me more than their previous encounter where FTR won the AAA titles? No, it didn't. It was fine though, because you can tell that this is just another match in a series of matches these two teams are going to have. I still think it will culminate in title versus title in the coming months. I picked the Luchas to win this one and got this one right, so for those of you keeping score, I'm currently 1-1 in my predictions. The pay-per-view showed no signs of easing up, with the number one contenders match next between Brian and Miro. Yet another incredible turnout from Danielson. His storytelling, selling and in-ring ability has to be at an all-time best. Miro put on a great show too. Now I'm not sure if he's rehabbing an injury as his thigh was very heavily taped up, but considering he was brought into the tournament only 10 days previously, he certainly showed that he deserved to be there. Again, it was Miro's weak neck that proved to be his downfall, with Danielson hitting a DDT off the turnbuckle followed by a guillotine submission. I generally thought they'd go with Miro, so 2-1 down now on my predictions. I don't want to see Miro lose too many more big matches though in the future, or he'll start to become a less effective monster like Brian Cage and Lance Archer sadly have. As for Danielson, and when his title shot will take place, I've no idea. It seems too big a match to put on TV, and the next pay-per-view is February, but it wouldn't surprise me if they push this on the first Dynamite on TBS or something, to give the move to the new channel a major push. Next was the superclick versus Jurassic Express and Christian Cage. Now, I think they were all just backstage watching the first three matches and decided, I know what, let's go out there and deliver the most insane 20 to 30 minutes we possibly can. We had a Hurricane Rama through a table, Christian jumping off the target centre, Luchasaurus doing a shooting star press off the entranceway, we had ladder bumps, thumbtacks on knee pads, and I'm not even telling half the story here. But even with all this going on, it still managed to tell the continuing story of Jungle Boy's evolution as he accepted the need to become more aggressive and delivered the concerto to Matt Jackson for the win, which now puts me 3-1 down on my predictions. It was at this stage that I feel the pay-per-view hit a bit of a lull, with Cody and Pac versus Malachi Black and Andrade El Idolo. Now technically there was nothing wrong with this match at all, but I just feel like it wasn't needed on the card. I think myself and the crowd were waiting for some big story beat at the finish, but it never came. Pac scored the win on Andrade, so now I'm 4-1 down on my predictions, and nothing was resolved. I assume Black and Andrade will be looking for revenge, and the crowd is still firmly against Cody in his current form. I mean, they might surprise me on Dynamite this week, but this one was forgettable for me. Next was Britt Baker versus takeont, and I was really pleased to see this positioned here on the card and not slotted in before the main event as a toilet break. The match was given a decent amount of time too. Sadly, the match quality wasn't quite there for me, and I think it was let down by a few miscommunication moments. It was still takeont's best match in her short wrestling career and will have done her profile a world of good. And as I accurately predicted though, Baker retained, so now I'm only 4-2 down. Then it was the turn of CM Punk and Eddie Kingston to take centre stage. This was an all-out brawl, and as I thought, the crowd went absolutely crazy for this one. It went a bit shorter than I expected, but on reflection they told the story they needed to in the time they had. Punk got the win, 4-3 down now, but Kingston did what he set out to do and beat Punk up. I hadn't seen Punk as beaten up since his UFC bouts. Great build-up, great booking, great performance from both. Minneapolis Street Fight time next, as the Inner Circle took on America's Top Team. This was the perfect position for this match. I don't feel it ever took itself too seriously, and was a good change of pace after the Punk v Kingston match and before the main event. I've seen some criticism online for the UFC guys, especially Dos Santos, for being late with the punch as Jericho went for the lion salt. And yes, it was a bit sloppy, but we weren't looking for a wrestling clinic here. I enjoyed it for what it was, and I'm sure some of the crazy spots came off great live. Ultimately, it was all set up to see Dan Lambert get his comeuppance, which he did from a frog splash from Jericho. So that now makes me 4 all of my predictions. And finally, it was main event time with Kenny Omega versus Hangman Adam Page for the AEW World title. You'd have forgiven the crowd if they had been a bit worn out by this stage after what they had seen on the previous 3.5 hours, but they were with Hangman and Omega all the way. I think this one was booked perfectly. Page looked strong and confident throughout, and Omega again proved that he's one of the best. There were some pretty high risk moves as well in a match that really didn't need any. My favourite was Hangman untaping the camera and then leaping off the very top of the turnbuckle post. Omega kicking out of the one-winged angel was a good touch, and a slight wink and a nod to the online speculation that Page might kick out of the protected finisher. The final moments with the Young Bucks coming down to the ringside and subtly nodding their approval of Hangman as he hit 2 buckshot lariats was brilliant, and perfectly capped off almost a 3-year story arc. Seeing Hangman lift the title was a beautiful moment and the perfect end to a great pay-per-view. So with me getting the main event result right, I come out of this review victorious at 5-4. So maybe I won't hang up my prediction hat just yet. So as always, what are your thoughts? Did you watch Full Gear? Did you enjoy it as much as I did? Let me know in the comments section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up to date with all future videos. Anyway, until next time, my name's Dom, this is Geeks and Grapplers. Ciao for now.